Hello everyone, this is Geezer here. I'm going to take you through starting in Dayz on day one, hitting the beach. And we're going to go through just the very basics to get you started. If you've ever had any problems getting off the beach, or you're interested in the game, or you're coming back to the game, you want to fine tune your skills, that's good. Here what we're going to do is we just picked out a server here. You can pick two different characters. This is the character you're going to be with till you die. There's Baronzino, the cement factory, Kamenka, Bellotta, Electro, and Cherno. We're going to pick Cherno here. The one in the middle picks it at random. So if you just want to surprise yourself, you can pick the one in the middle. Don't worry about these names. Just remember which picture that you highlighted to get into the game, because if your character gets killed, you're going to want to get back to the same place, same town. So we're going to go to Cherno here, upper left hand corner, Chernogorsk. And let me see what it's going to do here. I might have waited too long for it. There we go. Let's see if I can get my there we go, keys to react. I need to do a quick adjustment here. You can go into, let me see, hit escape, go into options, video options, and this takes a while for me, for it to come up a few seconds here. And down here I'm going to adjust the brightness and the gamma down. Oop, that's a little bit too far, because you'll have cloudy days, sunny days, and you want to be able to see, but you want to be able to cut out a lot of this glare too. Now if you click on advanced down here, it'll give you the rest of the settings. And just a quick word about this. These are the settings I use. You can just freeze frame the video to check this out. I won't go into deep detail because there's a lot of YouTube videos that already have it. But I will say this as we go along. No one can tell you what your video settings should be. Only you know. No, there's so many different CPUs, GPUs, different RAM, different computers. There are literally trillions of different options. So for you to say what's going to give me the best video, I have no clue. No one does. You just have to toy around with it. I know that's not the answer you may want to hear, but you have to toy around with it back and forth. As you can see in the upper right hand corner, hopefully you can see it, I got 41 frames a second. This depends on what you're looking at right here. We're looking at the beach. Now we're down to 36. You turn around, where it has less to render on sky and land, we're having 68, 70. So we have twice as many frames per second. It depends on what the game is trying to render in, what your screen has to render, how hard it has to work. Now we're down to 32, 35, 36. Now we're back up 68. So the first thing you always want to do when you hit the beach, and you got to drill this into your head over and over and over again, because you will be hitting the beach 1,000 more times in Dayz. Very first thing you do on anytime you get into the game is click on G, check your gear. Every server will be different. This is a great server. This is a Z Nation server. I can see they gave me a can of beans, so some food, some drink, 2 bandages. I already got a toolbox, a compass, a knife, a flashlight in case it's night, matches, and the map. So you could not hardly ask for anything more. I'm going to right click on the axe. I'm going to add to back. And this is when you're carrying, and this is holding in your hands. I'm going to move it up to my hands. So always check. The other server I play, you spawn in with 2 bandages. Some you spawn in with no bandages whatsoever. So what we're going to do now is we're in Cherno. We're on the east side. So as long as you're hunkered down along the beach over this hill, you're fine. But you'll want to work out your keys down here. So to go prone is Z, kneel is X, stand up is C for me. And then to pick up gear, I have it programmed to the space bar. And you can go in your keyboard controls and figure that out. You also have two different speeds. Right now I'm pressing down the W key, but I can increase my speed or slow it down by hitting the left shift. And the reason I have it on the left shift key and why this is so tedious and so important is it depends on where your hands are at on the keyboard. My pinky rests on left shift. So all I got to do is just drop my pinky and I'm fine. And then if I roll my hand, I can hit the action menu right there. Because the action menu for me, if I come up here, is just my thumb. So I just move, you have to play around with the keys and move them around to where you like them at. Some keys are, let's just say they're hard for me to reach. Too many years of working outside in the weather. Working out in cold weather, and it's getting hard on my hands. So there's some keys I switch around and have macro keys just to make them easier to deal with. So the first thing I want to teach you here, and the first thing you're going to know, besides the repetitive stuff, which I will repeat myself over and over and over again, and if I do, it's not only me being a little OCD and tedious. The more I repeat something, the more important it is in this game. So I won't let you down there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through town, and I'm going to show you a couple different ways of dealing with zombies. It's not important where you're at. It's most people get wrapped up into I spawned in along the highway. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know where to go. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Just go. Just go. Just pick a direction and go. And but the trick to it is, whatever town you're in, you're going to want to get into side chat. Learn how to set up your side chat and be able to type in side chat or direct chat, and you're going to want to talk to people and try to figure out what is the name of the town I'm in. If you can't remember, just click on the same exact picture. Cherno is the upper left hand corner. Just choose that for your first week in game. Just choose Cherno. Now if you think of let me see where I'm at here. On this map here, oh beautiful, we've got a mission going on up here. This is your map. Runs from over here down here, 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 and here. This whole entire map, if it gets confusing for people because of all the different names, but if you can consider this a state or a province, the state or the province is the entire map. That is Chernarus. The town we're in is Chernogorsk, and people call it Cherno for short. So I got to deal with this zombie here. He's going to be bugging me. So within the state or province, uh-oh, my axe is not working now. Well, they spawned me in with an axe, but for some reason the game will not let me swing it. So I'm just going to run down here. along the seawall. This is a safe place to go, whether you got people shooting at you or not. And what I got to do is I got to move my flashlight up. Switch between my flashlight, and then go back to my axe. There we go. Sometimes it gets a little stuck. So anyway, this is a good place to stay right down here for a second. But if you consider this map, the state, that's Chernarus, state or province. Chernogorsk and Cherno is just one city. Here's Electro, and it's going to take you a while to figure out where the hell you're at. That's fine, don't worry about it. It's called Cherno for short. It's mainly the capital of Chernarus. So it's the largest city on the map. This map is 262 square kilometers of free roaming. You can go anywhere you want, anytime you want, and spend as long as you want. That's the beauty of this game. So you can zoom in on your map once you locate a mapping game, and you can identify which street and which building you're on. And you need to stay in that town for at least a couple days. Most people get on here and want to run to the Northwest Airfield up here. That's a 9,100 meter run. You will never remember how you got there. You'll never remember how you get back. You've got to learn in just a little bit at a time. So it's real important. That's why a lot of people don't survive the game, is they don't want to handle the basics. They don't want to learn the basics. They jump in the game and want to go real fast. Hey, give me a ride. I want to go to the Northwest Air Force or Airfield, and they all want to do the same exact thing. They want to get to the good guns. And that's the only reason they want to go to the Northwest Airfield. That's where the good guns are. And they usually have the toughest time in game. We're at the church in Cherno right now. Show you a little bit about the church. They actually did a beautiful job on this. But there's a baseball bat there. But when new people come into the game, the biggest mistake they get is they want to get the heck away from all the zombies. They want to get up there and they don't want to deal with it. You can see the reflection off the glass here. This is how brilliantly they did the game. See that glass, stained glass? When you hit this, it's raining now, but when you hit this at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, outside these windows right here, the stained glass is so realistic, it's jaw-dropping. Arma 2 Dayz mod did a brilliant job with little details like that. Yes, there's glitches in the game like any other game, but some of the stuff they did turned out perfect. That's one of them. That's something you'll have to experience. 2 is weather. Whatever team was in charge of the weather did a beautiful job right off the bat. They hit it right out of the park. Now you can see that this glass, the reflection on it. But anyway, I just want to show you that real quick. So just learn your way around town. We're going to go to a few places I know. We're just going to jog over there. Places like this one right here will never open before. So let me show you the old map. These buildings right here, 2-story, orange brick, turquoise stripe. They're always open on every server, every map in Chernarus. Whenever you see one in every city, every town, every map, every server, these 2-story orange brick with a turquoise stripe will always be open, and you can always run inside. And this is exactly what I'm looking for. So to have your pistol in your hand, you got to get rid of your flashlight and put it back. take the revolver and switch the revolver to your hand. Click R for reload. Now, I'm going to show you a bunch of places that you're really going to enjoy, but before I show you how to deal with zombies, and this is going to be the end-all be-all on how to deal with zombies, because if there's anything I know about, that's like clockwork. Dayz, A to Z, dealing with zombies and hitting the beach. So I cannot show you how good you can get with dealing with these zombies until I show you how bad it can be. And here's how bad it can be. Number one mistake everyone makes on Dayz Vanilla. Never fire a gun. These guys are pretty laid back on this server. Matter of fact, these are not aggressive zombies at all. I might have to start this video all over again on another server, because this is not a normal reaction. Okay, folks, we just landed on a beach, new server. Can't tell if it's just in my gamma and brightness now. Can't tell if it's turning night or daytime. It's really tough to tell now. I'll have to see here, but we'll give it a shot. The first thing you do when you land on the beach, very first thing, every server, every version of the game, every different mod of Dayz Vanilla, Arma 2's Dayz Vanilla, the very first thing you want to do when you land on the beach and don't know where you're at, I'll talk you through this. It's going to be simple, easy, and I'll give you 100 different ways to survive here. But the first thing you do is you need to press G to check your gear. Now, I was just on another server, excuse me, but the zombies weren't aggressive enough. I fired a gun half dozen times and they didn't even move. On that server, I spawned in with a map, an axe, bandages, flashlight. There was a ton of stuff that I spawned in with. On this server right here, you can see I spawned in with nothing. They don't even give you a bandage. So that determines your gameplay, how careful you want to be. This is your heads up display on the right hand side. It says a survivor. I'm the only one online right now. My blood is at 12,000, humanity 2,500. Zombies, murders, and bandits, and your uptime. My frames per second are 44 frames per second. So now that we know, and for all beginners, these are the type of servers you want. You would like to have a little bit more gear. But the main thing is that this heads-up display on your right-hand side is going to help you out as a beginner. It'll keep track of your blood for you. So once you get down on the beach, you're going to want to get going here. But you're also going to want to really work on your controls and your keys. If you don't have your controls and your keys set up to go prone, to crawl, this is Q and E, to kneel or crouch, and to stand up, back to crouch, back to laying down flat and rolling. Rolling is perfectly silent in the game. No matter what you hear, the zombies can't hear anything. Neither can players, so it's a great way to get around. So we're just going to pop up over the hill. We're going to zoom in. There's a couple zombies there. There's lights on in that house. Those are new to Dayz Vanilla. They didn't have them before. They opened up a lot more houses. There's a zombie down there. And I can also see a pickup truck too. Now it's a bit tricky, but I can tell you right now, and we're going to go over this in the navigation videos. There's going to be a couple videos, just probably about 3 or 4, just on pure navigation. Thought that was the moon, but it may not be. The moon's behind that hill. So anyway, make sure you know which keys are, I'm going to adjust mine. And I have the W key pressed down with my left hand, right hand on the mouse. But the key to move faster, I have programmed to my left shift key. And the reason for that is, it's not anything special, it's just that's where my pinky automatically rests. So you got to be comfortable with your keys and have them in a comfortable position. And I'm going to run through everything right now, and we're going to show you not only what to do, which is very important, but also very important, what not to do. So you can see a vast difference here. So don't worry about going too far inland on your first attempt here. You're just going to get lost in the woods. The map is tremendously large. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep, as the old saying goes, and you will get lost. We don't have any night vision, but in low level light, just hit while you're still on the beach, you can lay down right away, and you can work your controls from laying down, going to your video options, and adjust your brightness and your gamma all the way to 100%. And that'll help you on most nights. Some stormy nights, some dark rainy nights are so pitch black. I played with a couple guys last night on a server, and it was the blackest we've ever seen it. You could hardly see anything on your screen. And they couldn't move around the map, and I covered about, I think it was about 15,000 meters running last night, because I really didn't need to see once you get used to it. Just have to have a general direction. So we're crouched down. The slower you go, regardless of what you hear in your headphone, it sounds the same to you. And some stuff will even sound loud to you. It's what it appears to the zombies. That's what's most important. So what we need to do first is we need to get any gear we can get, but we need to get it safely, we need to get it quietly, and we need to go slow. If we're caught off guard, see, you can tell here on the sound, listen. These short footsteps sound just as loud as anything else. But they're actually quieter to the zombies. What I'm doing right now is louder to the zombies. They can hear it better. That makes sense. So take your time. We're going to move in. Oh, now see, he alerted to me, so I'm just going to stand up and run. They cannot catch you. They cannot catch up to you. V is the button for jumping. We're just going to continue running here. And it's actually a good thing to run sometimes. What you don't want to do, the number one mistake everyone makes, run inside a building. Until you have a melee weapon, you never want to do that, because you will be caught at the door. You want to stick to buildings that you can get in or get out the back door. They must have 2 entrances to them. You run into any building with 1 entrance, they're going to block you in there and beat you to death at the door. So you want to avoid these guys. They will take swipes at you if you get too close. Oh, he almost got me. I'll show you a little bit later. They will take swipes at your legs to break your legs. So try to find the biggest building you can. It's going to be a little bit difficult for us. I know the buildings like the back of my hand, so I already know where to run. But I'm trying to get it from your perspective. First time, and you can see a couple of them got bottlenecked down there. So we already lost a couple of them. So what we're going to do is, I can't get these guys away from me. I lost about half of them. So we're going to pick a low-lying pine tree right here. And this is with branches all the way to the ground, and we're going to run right into the pine tree. Running into the pine tree or the bush, they'll lose interest, they'll lose track of you. You can see him right beside me looking. He's going to lose interest here in a little bit, and if he doesn't, we can crouch down. And he's trying to follow me now, so I don't know if he hears me or not, if he really hears me. And we're just going to back off really slowly. Keep backing. We're going to take a look around here and see if any of those others followed. Sometimes they'll slow down and take time to catch up. Now you can see him. I'm not making any noise right now, but you can see he lost interest and is going back to his normal routine. And that's because they're AI. They're programmed to a certain routine. Almost like if you were in a video game, if you've ever been in a video game, to where you have to have the silenced weapon and get past the guards with your silent weapon undetected, because the guards or sentries are on patrol. That's all these zombies are. They react to you from certain triggers, but they're just like sentries. So he's going to go back to his original sentry post and walk his route. You go up to a building, nothing's coming up on a cursor, so this building it can't get into. That's fine. We're going to peek around a little bit. I want to keep it quiet. This is very important. There's one over there somewhere. Yep, that's the same one. Pick up the pace. It's hard not to run. It's very hard not to run. But if you keep quiet, they'll be fine. So this building looks open right here. It's hard to tell in the dark. We're just going to come in and scan the floor. Scan the floor, scan the floor. There's nothing here. Come back out. And we're going to open this door here. The reason I'm picking this building is it has a door over here and a door on the left, door on the right. And if you want to and you feel better about it, whether it's other players you're trying to avoid, AI, which this server doesn't have any. I'm just stopping to listen to what their footsteps are. If I hear running footsteps, I know they're after me, and I'm coming out this door. If at all possible, you never want to go out the same door you went in, because they're following you. Now this one heard me. He aggroed and he's coming. I may have got quiet enough in time. Nope, there he is, right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to run in an open building here. Now they can't run inside very well. I'm not going up that ladder because it's one way up and the only way down. So I don't want to get stuck at the top of that ladder with 6 zombies below me. So what we're going to do is we're going to move over here. Continue on. Then the game's going to completely change once I have a melee weapon in my hand. This building here looks open. Trying to get over here quick. I'm going to turn around, make sure nobody's following me. Scan the floor here. They can hear your footsteps while you're in the building. I've never been up there on that roof and I don't want to go because I see right now there's one ladder up. A couple zombies over there. Now these 2-story buildings, and I know you can't see it now. You can see the 2-story brick building right in front of me. But they're orange or red. There's 2 different kinds, orange and red. They're always open. And they have 2 entrances. So we're going to run in. Be quiet. Pick up some snack chips. It's the first food we've seen. Gonna look around the room here. Now he's coming in here after me, but I'm just gonna move off into the next room. Carpeted floor, a pistol. Now you can see his reaction. What part of the some of the biggest part of this game and understanding this game in Dayz is observation. If you observe, if you're a good observer, you'll do well at this game. Now I just hear him aggroing behind me, so I've got to move off. And I don't want to run in a building right yet that I don't know I can't get out of, or that I can get out of. We've already searched these buildings down here. I wanted to spend a little bit more time in this town, but I don't know if they're going to let me. But as a new player, you'll want to stay in the same town, same place. That way, if you do get killed and spawn back into the game, you at least have a little bit more of an advantage because now you know the area at least a little bit. One thing we can do here is climb up these little rungs. It takes a few seconds. And we can get up onto the flat cars. We can watch their reaction. They're disinterested now. Now they heard me going by them. Now we got flares. Important tool for beginners. F is the key for throwing, cycling through stuff you can throw. So we're going to click F. It says revolver up in the right hand corner. We're going to click F again and it'll say flare. And then we're going to click the center mouse or the left mouse button. Now that accidentally that animation wasn't what it was supposed to be. It fired my gun because the game thought my gun was in my hand while I was throwing the flare. So I pressed 1 through the flare, or the left mouse button, but the left mouse button is also the fire button. So that was a big mistake right there. which is the reason I don't, I usually never run with a gun in my hand. But you have to have an item in your hand to be able to run fast. Whether it's a flashlight, I prefer a flashlight. So we'll see if we can get back down to the shore here. As long as you're running, they cannot catch you. They cannot hurt you. They can't make you bleed. They can't infect you. They can't do anything. As long as you're moving. So we're going to have to get some food and water here pretty soon. We have a little bit of food, but we're going to need some water. And you can just give them the juke. And one thing I like to do is go ahead and run. Get them to follow you. Now when you're running, you can use the keys on your number pad, which is what I call rear view mirrors. And if you use your mirrors, you can check and see. I got 5 of them following me. And I actually do want them to follow me because they're out of town now. And I want to be in that town, but I want them to get as far away from town as possible. Because it's going to take them 3 or 4 minutes to wander their way back. And that's 3 less I have to deal with. If you can get 12 or 13 of them to follow you, that's great. And I can tell by the color changes, we're just getting some color in here, so the sun's coming up. And they're running full blast now. So as long as I get them to quiet down here for a second. We started up here past the gas station. It's actually a truck here. I'm not interested in a truck right at this moment. What I'm worried about is losing those zombies, and I did. Now they're stuck. It's going to take them a couple minutes to get back. So we can just start our routine all over again. We're going to start by, let me see, I'm going to double click the left button here. I really don't want this gun right now. I'd rather have a flashlight in my hand. As long as you have a flashlight in your hand, you can run as fast as you want. But we need to get the almighty melee weapon. So there looks like a house that's open. Those never used to be open before. So if we can get into this green house quietly, very quietly, and you can also crawl on your belly when you need to. It's a little bit tricky because you got to get up and run after that. And this is very, very early morning. We're actually on the East Coast in the Chernarus map. There we go, baseball bat. Now, if you're not sure whether you can get in and out of a building, you can always circle that building. And as long as you're quiet, they'll stay quiet. We have a map now. I feel much better that I have a melee weapon and it's not that dang pistol. There's another pistol there. This is the way out of the building. So what we're going to do is we're going to let them quiet down. And this, the 4 melee weapons in the game are the baseball bat, machete, crowbar, and axe. The baseball bat is about the worst one. It can take 2 or 3 hits. It's not very accurate. You can upgrade it later on with barbed wire. We're going to watch what direction they're running in here or walking in, because they're just like sentries. They're walking their post the way that they were programmed to cover it, walk back and forth. And it looks like I can see through these windows. If the windows are opaque and not clear and you can't see through them, like this building right here, You can't enter that building. That's a non-enterable building because you can't see anything through the glass. So we're going to come up here, press V, which will make my character stand up. So I got to remember, get back down. We're going to check out this building. And I know once you can see wallpaper and through the windows, we're good. One of the spawn points is right outside a dog box. There's another baseball bat in here. Empty can on the right. Couple bunk beds. There, we just had a flash. The game just changed over. Oh, here's 2 sodas. The game just changed over to daylight. So we need to drink one of these sodas now. So I have 1 soda and 1 food item left. And as long as you remain calm, they'll remain calm and you can walk around pretty much. Oh, this house here is the house that used to be open. This one's not. That one's not. See the opaque windows? They're not open. You might find gear on the porches in and around the base of the building, but you can't get in. This one's open. This is one that remember to, once you cross over the fence, kneel back down so you can be in a crouched position. This is one of the old school ones that's open on all servers. This is what I call a safe haven home. Always open, all servers, all versions of the game. It's the long brown log house with no shutters on the outside. The ones with white shutters, which we were in a little bit ago. Here's a pack of matches. The ones with white shutters are not always open. They just started opening those up later on. Now, I had to come out the same door there because there's only one way in and one way out. But now the game has changed. I don't mind going in places that are one way in and one way out because I have a melee weapon. And now, since we took our time and we forced ourselves to slow down, and you can see which buildings are open. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. So now we have a melee weapon. Now we can really pick up the pace. It's not the best melee weapon in the game. But what you want to do is once you have your melee weapon, run in any building, turn immediately, face the door. Always face the direction of the attack. Whoop. I gotta make sure I don't get infected. So you do not want to get hit, even if you can take the beating. You do not want to get hit because you have to remember we're still in a dangerous situation here because we have no bandages. And we're bleeding. Just as soon as I say that. This is being a little too nice. Sodas. Now this zombie had antibiotics on him, which is rare. Can of soup. It depends on the server and how admin set them up. Sometimes they won't have anything on them. Getting antibiotics is 1 out of every 75. I gotta work quickly now. Because now we must go bandage. Bullets. Make sure you search every place thoroughly. A hunting knife, very important. Hunting knife and matches, we're halfway there. With a hunting knife, I gotta work on getting a bandage now. Now here's the trick. We're already bleeding. You do lose blood points every time they smack you. And we don't have the sharpest tool in the game here for this. So we got to get it in our head. Bandage, bandage, bandage. You can see the blood in the top right hand corner has dropped down to 9200. We're losing about 20 points a second here. That's toilet paper. So here they are at the door. Oh, I shouldn't have let them hit me there. Starting to get a little... You need to kill these zombies. He's got painkillers on him, not what I want. We're down to 7,400 blood. None of them are having a bandage. So this means my character just may die. So that's why it's important to stay in the same town and try to respawn in the same town. Now these small towns are not going to have any hospital. Here's another trip. Always face your attacker. And always be backing. There's a bandage right there. That's one of the most important things in the game. Sometimes in these small towns that don't have bandages, that don't have antibiotics, there's no hospital here. It's such a small town. Your hospital is the zombies. They have on them, if you loot the zombies, what you need, because admin can't put it into the game. There's no hospital here to spawn a lot of loot in to say, hey, here's bandages, unless they start throwing them on the floor. So what they do is they give them to the zombies. Now I just used up my last bandage. Character's starting to gas. We're down to 50, about 5,100 blood points. But now you can see, instead of losing 20 blood points per second, and you can calculate the math in on that one right there. Now we can go upstairs, because now I have a melee weapon to fight my way back down. Now instead of losing 20 blood points per second, we're gaining about 1-2 per second. Now you can do the math on this, and I'll tell you what it is. From 12,000 blood, if you start bleeding out, you have about 6 minutes and 40 seconds to live. 6 minutes, 40 seconds to get a bandage before you bleed out. So sometimes you got to pick up the pace and sort of concentrate there. And I kind of got lucky with that bandage. I got lucky with it being a little bit soon. In some ways, I'm surprised it wasn't a little sooner. We need this flashlight. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang on to that. And there's the axe. That's what I've been looking for. So the 4 melee weapons are, we're going to drop the baseball bat, right click on this, add to back, move to your hands, or the holding. So we have, for the 4 melee weapons, baseball bat is okay, machete is better, crowbar is better yet, and axe is one of the best. Because an axe you can chop firewood and do all kinds of things with, build a fire and everything. The crowbar has a good bite and a good sting to it. It'll put a wallop just as you expect it would on them. So, and the machete is kind of okay. The crowbar really puts a belt on, a little extra sting at the end of it. Now I have a zombie following me here. So now I can run into a house. So I'm looking for a house. Opaque windows, opaque. Now I got to turn. I don't want these guys taking a swipe at my legs. Find a house that's open. Been in that one, been in that one. Nope, nope. Try to find someplace new. Now here's a long brown log home with white shutters. There's without white shutters. There's with white shutters. These just opened up. Be careful when this is the one we were in before. So we're going to go to the back. We're going to turn. We're going to face the expected area of attack. We're going to quiet down. Anytime you enter a building with zombies chasing you, even with players or AI, this guy glitched through the door. I just heard a footstep behind me on wood. We're going to stay quiet. We're going to let them calm down. If you stay calm, they'll calm down. You can hear it right now. They're moving on. One of the best things I can teach you here is don't lose your cool. I know it's difficult sometimes when you're playing with friends. From a doorway, you can fight. And here's why this is so very important and people miss out on it. When you're out on the open and you have zombies chasing you, they can hit you from all four sides, so you're vulnerable. In here, if you're up against the doorway, now they can only hit me from one side, so there's a 75% statistically, a 75% less chance that I'm going to get killed or bleed or infected. So I increase my chances by 75% of survival right there. If you're back in a corner, such as this corner right here, you have your left and your right covered, you have about 50% covered. So you increase your odds of survival by 50% right there. Let me double check this guy. Usually in the small towns, when you're way out in the middle of nowhere, you can live off these zombies, especially at night in these very small towns. So right here, you have to have all sides covered. This is 101. And you want to keep your shoulder up against the wall, because now they can only hit me from the right hand side of the screen. So you want to protect that shoulder. You want to protect that shoulder. At least half of you. And zombies are a lot less likely to home in on you if you are within 2 feet of a building or structure. They have a hard time seeing you. So we're going to sneak up. And as soon as he aggroed there, you start backing. Now let me show you something that's really cool I developed. I'm going to have to go over here to kind of show you. Away from these zombies just for a second here. You want to know what is the best way to deal with zombies? I'll tell you. 2 words. Muhammad Ali. Yes, that's right. I said it. You need to get in this stance right here that you can see my character in. See the character and how it moves. How it moves. Shoulders up. Fist up in front of them. You're holding an axe. But it's the same thing. Moving left. Moving right. Left. Right. Because these zombies, when they chase you, are trying to home in on you on where you are at. They don't know. The computer has to tell them where you're at. So the computer has to get your location. Then it has to get their location. Then it has to tell them to go from their location to your location. That takes a split second. Computers are fast. But a split second is all I need. I need to adjust my video in here just a second to take some of this glare off. Don't want to get it too dark. Part of the game, constantly adjusting for your best vision. So when you get in this boxer stance, it's just the same. It's just boxing 101. Get in this stance, be backing or moving forward. I like the backing with these zombies. That's what you have to use most. Constantly backing, and then you want to move left and right. because you want to throw them off and buy that extra quarter of a second to a half a second, because when they come after you, the computer has to tell you where you're at, where they're at, calculate, and then they have to move that 5, 10, 15, 20 feet. What is it? 2.5 feet. 2.5 feet to the right, 2.5 feet to the left, 4 feet to the left. And once the computer locks in on you and knows where you're at, then it can move the zombie up towards you. But if right before it can get that calculation done, if you move again, now it's got to recalculate. I'm just going to slow down here. It's getting a little laggy. So you always want to face the expected, I call it area of attack, but it's not the right words here that I'm looking for. Where the attack is coming from. So here we go. Back, 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 back. Swing. Piece of cake. The second part of that is to listen to the sounds they're making. Let me double check. Sometimes I look, but I don't look. It's looking without seeing when I check their gear. The second part of this is you have to hear, because they will make a noise right before they aggro. If you heard that, there's another bandage. So now I can be a little bit braver. My blood is going up. Always got to keep track of your blood. I'm not worried about it if I die, because I'm just using this as a training video. So now you can crouch down where you're quieter. You can swing a little bit going forward. So 3 zombies, and we don't have to move. We just changed the game right there. You just changed your gameplay because we don't have to move for them. They have to move for us. That's a huge difference. Now this guy aggroed, so I got to take care of him first. Take care of him second. Get in that boxer stance. None of this hold your ground stuff. You have to be backing. You have to be backing, and I like to back left and right. Make them recalculate where they're at, and you can almost see them take a stutter step like, what the hell's going on? And you can always do this. But you cannot swing in this position, so you have to slow your character down to this speed to be able to swing and back at the same time. Excuse me. So now, just with those few moves, be backing, be backing, be backing. Swing, swing, up. You got to hit that magical distance where they're away from you. Backing and moving left and right. Now this one's aggroed way over there. So I'm just changing the distance on him. Swing. I'm changing the distance I was away from him by moving forward and backwards. So he has to recalculate and recalculate when he takes that swipe at you. So if you can remember anything in the game, remember the boxer stance. It takes this game from being very difficult. I didn't have any bandages. I didn't have a melee weapon. I didn't have this. I didn't have that. Now one melee weapon and learning that boxer stance. Now I control the zombies. They won't control me. So like like Muhammad Ali, you just have to remember you are the greatest. And in case you were wondering, that's the whole life lesson he was trying to teach you when he said he was the greatest. He didn't mean himself. A lot of people still think that, and I did, because I never could figure that out my whole life, how arrogant he was. I am the greatest. I am the greatest. And it was part of his whole routine and everything. But his lifelong lesson and why he kept repeating it was he was trying to get you to get into that you're the greatest. In other words, to get you to say, I am the greatest, and to be your best self. I watched his fights for 30 years, and I never figured out why he was so arrogant and talking about all that. And it just hit me on the day he passed away, really. That it kind of all came in. Oh, wait a minute. He was trying to teach you something. So remember that. You are the greatest. So it may take corny sayings like that to get you to memorize this. But you'll never forget. A little storytelling. If you like stories, something interesting, you won't forget. Get your boxer stance on. Get in that boxing mode. Do the little rope-a-dope up against the ropes. Even if you got to keep your back up against the wall like this. Get up against the wall. Get in the corner. It worked for him his whole entire career. You can check inside these sheds too. So back. Oh, knocked me unconscious right there. Now he's going to beat me to death right there. Just as soon as I got cocky. You can hear my character screaming now, so he's going to be bad. But this may turn out to be good if I live, because I'm going to be in really bad shape. So I can show you something else in the game. How to survive this, because it's going to take another 5 seconds to wake up and another 5 seconds to strike back at him. So there's a delay. Up, we're knocked unconscious again. No, I'm dead. Yep. So now I got to figure out. I was down from the cement factory. So now I got to figure out where I was at again and if I can get back to the same place. So yeah, I got a little cocky on that, but it takes practice. I haven't been killed in a long time like that. But the backing really helps you out. So we're going to jump back in. We're going to try it again. So I'll see you in a little bit. I'm not sure how long this is going to take to have me spawn back in.